So you find yourself isolating from other people. Have you ever wondered if this is a good thing from other people or is it a bad thing that you isolate from other people? We're gonna talk about it right now. My name is Terrence, the therapist. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel so that YouTube's algorithm can pick up on spreading the word about mental health. Self-isolation, is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? In the world of mental health, we normally think of self-isolation as being a negative, being a bad thing. Many mental health symptoms, according to the DSM-5, give specific criteria, which includes self-isolation. So many of folks, if you ever experience anxiety or you were formerly diagnosed with anxiety and maybe you told your therapist, hey, I don't like being around people, I get anxiety, or I'm so depressed that I don't like to be around folks. Self-isolation does meet a criteria of a diagnosis for anxiety or depression. So I want to talk a little bit more beyond the generic thought of what self-isolation is and really deconstruct to see whether is this a good thing to self-isolate or is this a bad thing to self-isolate? First off, let's define what is self-isolation. So self-isolation is a state or a period in which you refrain from being around other people. So it's literally you separating yourself from people. In 2020, the term self-isolation really picked up in our language because of the pandemic, and what that did when we were talking about self-isolation was you separating yourself from spreading a disease or what we had known as COVID-19. So this term self-isolation was really identified with being quarantined, which is an example of self-isolation. Now, just in my personal opinion, I feel like self-isolation doesn't always have to be a negative thing, and this is why when we have this conversation about self-isolating or not want to be around people, is sometimes maybe not always a bad thing. So self-isolation can be looked at as not just good and bad, but a healthy way of self-isolating and an unhealthy way of self-isolating. Now, the unhealthy ways is what we kind of discussed before, is sometimes it may be linked to an unwanted behavior. Usually folks who isolate may want to integrate and talk to other people, but just really don't have the capacity to do so. If you ever struggle with depression or anxiety, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Even the times where I felt really anxious at times, or maybe I wasn't feeling so good about myself, I really just didn't want to be around people. That's just the facts. I didn't want to be around people. So when self-isolation becomes unhealthy, it's normally when we don't feel comfortable around other people. And maybe some of the underlyingness is sadness, depression, having a low self-esteem, low confidence. All those things are normally things where we self-isolate is because there's something going on within ourselves to where we don't feel good being around other people. And all these unhealthy traits of self-isolating are red flags. It's a good telltale sign that you can benefit from therapy. And I do have some links in my description to how to find a therapist. So if you are one of those folks that maybe this resonates with you and you're exploring, maybe I should start therapy or maybe I shouldn't start therapy, go ahead and check out some of those links in the description so that you can get linked to the help that you deserve. Now, this is the other side of self-isolation, where it can be healthy to self-isolate at times. When self-isolation becomes healthy, it's normally because we are trying to focus on something, or there's a goal that we're trying to obtain. And we may self-isolate until that goal is accomplished. And this is where you might have to put your blinders on, you might have to hyper-focus on something. Maybe it's like a test you need to take, or maybe you have a financial goal, you just really need to separate yourself from distractions of like going out or partying or spending money. And when you do hyper-focus on this goal, it does eliminate distraction from you obtaining that goal. Or there might be points of times where you just know you're not ready to integrate or talk to other people. Maybe you're in a healing phase, maybe you just went through a breakup, or maybe you lost a loved one. These may be times where we may seem as like, okay, I am sad about these things, but maybe it is a good idea to maybe take just some time for myself. And when we talk about these healthy ways of self-isolating, it's usually for a short duration of time. This isn't something that would be long-term. Now, if it's long-term, that's when we have to look internally, like, is it that I don't like people, or is it that I'm antisocial, or what is it that's keeping me from having social circles? Trust issues can be one of them. Abandonment issues may be another one. But this is where these things you want to explore in therapy. These are things you want to talk to a therapist about to see whether or not if these are unhealthy or healthy traits of self-isolating. Especially when we talk about things that have to do with emotions, right? Like we were saying before, like the healing process of something or grieving, right? This is where you may still take some time to yourself, but also recognizing where it might become an issue is when it's not a set duration, it's not a set time period, and these things are going on for months or years or weeks. This is where you might have to think about like, hey, maybe I need to talk to somebody, maybe I need a therapist, because this self-isolation that I thought maybe was healthy was actually unhealthy. Now, just to summarize, unhealthy self-isolation is when you're struggling with something internal that may cause you not to want to be around people. And healthy isolation is consciously knowing that something external might not be healthy for you at this time or at this moment. And it will only be for a set duration or a set time frame. Now, I would love for you guys' opinion on this. Drop a comment and tell me, what do you think about healthy isolation and unhealthy isolation? Thank you for tapping in. My name is Terrence, the therapist. Don't forget to smash that like button and hit that subscribe so that YouTube can catch on to the goodness that we're spreading about mental health on this channel. Until next time, you guys take care. Peace.